Hello there, and welcome to Subscriber Q&A, the video series where I answer amazing questions that have been posted in the comments section. If you comment with a question that can benefit yourself and other people, your question may be featured in a video like this. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for your questions. We have been asked, how do we know that we have completed a karmic lesson for this lifetime? This is a great question. In a certain sense, there's no way to definitively know, but the best possible indication that you've completed a karmic lesson for this life is that the lesson disappears. That's how you'll know. The situation will stop repeating. You'll stop facing that same challenge, so let's say it's like a financial lesson or something like that, and you're always running out of money before you get to the end of the month, and you'll know that, the energy has gone out of the lesson when you're reaching the end of the month and you have a surplus and you have more than enough money. That means you've learned how to save, you've learned how to budget, you've learned how to earn, and the lesson has disappeared. If you're resisting the lesson and it keeps showing up and it keeps showing up and it keeps showing up and it keeps showing up, it's not complete. It can be so frustrating. Sometimes in a situation like that, if you can't quite figure out what the lesson is or what you should do, it can be helpful to seek support or assistance in the form of maybe a reading, book at the library, or advice of friends or family. Now, there does exist karma that is for the span of a life. There might be a certain area of life that's sort of like not for us in this lifetime, and that sometimes that doesn't feel fair, but it is fair. I promise you it is fair. It is fair in the grand scheme of the universe. Let's say there's something that hasn't happened in our life. Let's say it's wealth. Like, so many people want to win the lottery or something like that, or we get this false influence from like influencers out there that like we should all have a mansion, and maybe we're in a circle where like a lot of people around us do have that kind of wealth, and we wonder, when is it happening for me? We can learn all our lessons and do a really good job in our life, but it could be the case that we have a soul contract in this life that being a millionaire isn't a part of it. We've sort of just erased it, if you will, like from our life plan in order to develop other areas of our life that are a priority for our soul in this lifetime, which could be things like health, or things like relationships, or things like creative projects. Only so much can be achieved in a single human life. We can't do everything in the span of one life. So it is kind of worth asking oneself, is it possible that this thing that I'm expecting maybe isn't a part of my life plan at all? Sometimes our soul has already experienced plenty of that thing that we want in another life, and there's no longer a need to have that experience. A lot of the things that we are drawn into, they actually are familiar because we've actually already experienced those things in another time and in another place. Is negative karma from a previous life the reason that some things don't happen until later life for some people? That's one possible explanation, but I don't think that that's the most likely explanation. If something isn't happening until later in life, it's more likely that that simply wasn't a priority for your soul in this life. Even though it may be a priority in society generally, for your soul, you had wished to work on other things. Maybe your soul's priority was to work on compassion or honesty or communication, but that thing that you're thinking of for your soul in this life probably wasn't a priority, or there was necessary skills and abilities that you needed to develop first in order to make the most of that opportunity. An astrology reading can be really helpful because it tells us a lot about timing. And sometimes the thing that we think that we're meant to have, like, is represented by our Saturn or something like that, well then yes, that indicates that we're experiencing ourselves through this experience of working very hard over time, first experiencing restriction or difficult lessons in an area, and then achieving success with age, which is actually like an overall process that the soul actually really, really loves. Our human self can get frustrated with that. Our soul loves to work hard over the long haul and achieve something later in life. People live a long time. What a person might have achieved in 1900 or 1800 at age, say, 25 might be more appropriate for age 55 now for a person who's going to live a long life, and they're going to live to be 105. So I wouldn't be too hard on yourself. Like, if there's something that you want in life and it's not happening yet, it's not necessarily the case that you were a bad person in a prior life or that you performed badly. It could simply be that there's different priorities for you at this time in your life, or that you wish to reach a certain level of maturity or develop certain skills and abilities that will allow you to more fully appreciate the experience itself of whatever it is that you're wishing for, or to achieve greater success in that area when it does happen. Good things come to those who wait. It's also possible that for you as a soul, one of your lessons is patience. That is a really high principle of the soul. And so some of us are simply being asked to cultivate patience and trust in the spirit world. Trust that there is a divine timing, and that which is meant for us will come to us in that perfect divine time. So thank you so much. Whoever posted this question, thank you so much for your question today. Many blessings and namaste.